Hi, in this explainer video, we will discuss about the principle of lifting of corporate wheel or the doctrine of lifting of corporate wheel. Now, what exactly does this doctrine address? Right? See, in our episode 2, we discussed two important case studies on establishing that a company is a separate legal entity. It has a separate legal identity. Correct? So, the famous case of Lee versus Lee farming and also the Solomon versus Solomon case law. Now, these cases have established beyond doubt that a company is different from that of its directors, different from that of its shareholders, employees, customers, government, etc., and etc., which is fine. But because of this principle that a company has a separate legal identity, this might give rise to a situation where certain individuals might misuse this position of law and try to do certain activities which are prohibited and push it completely on the company and shy away from the liability. Getting my point? So where the company is used as a vehicle for certain wrongdoing, where the company is being put in the front while the fraud is being done by certain individuals in the name of the company, that's when this principle of lifting of corporate will arises, right? So this exactly is what this doctrine of lifting of corporate will is trying to address. But before we go in detail on when this doctrine of lifting of corporate will can be used, let's also try to understand another doctrine, which is the inception of this doctrine of lifting of corporate will, which is the doctrine of alter ego. See, a doctrine of alter ego fundamentally tries to equate the company with that of the ones who are in control of the company. That is nothing but, as per the doctrine of alter ego, it says that the company is nothing but the alter ego of its directors. But when does it say so? Only when this company is used for certain wrongdoing, right? So technically, if I have to read this out for you, it says that if directors use the company as an extension of themselves to commit wrongful acts, in such a situation, court will treat both the directors and the company as the one and the same person. This is exactly the doctrine of alter ego. Now, this doctrine of alter ego gives way to lifting of corporate wheel, right? So, as per the doctrine of alter ego, we see both the directors as well as the company as a one single person. And as per the doctrine of lifting the corporate wheel, we lift the corporate wheel and say, "Chalo, since you are the same person, you are the one who was responsible for this crime, or you are the one who is responsible for this offense, and not the company. Rather, there is no such existence of a company as such. You are the one who is doing all this fraud." Right? So don't you think it is important that in certain extreme situations or exceptional circumstances, it is important for us to lift the corporate wheel and see the one who is in control of this and the one who is responsible for the wrongdoing of the company? Like for instance, let's say there is a scam, okay, a cheat scam, or you see hundreds of scams on going on in the newspapers. Now, if all these directors of this cheat companies or the scam companies come forward and say, "We are not the one who has done this. It is the company. I'm just a director of the company." Will you buy this argument? Obviously not. Because you're equating the directors with that of the company, because the company is nothing but an artificial person. You are injecting this decision making into the company, and on the name of the company, all these documentations have been framed, or certain scams have taken place, or certain fraud has occurred, or wrongful act has been done. That doesn't mean the director is absolved from his liability. So the doctrine of lifting the corporate wheel ensures that the ones who are actually responsible for the wrongdoing are held liable. Let's see certain circumstances when the courts lift this corporate wheel. I'll read it out. Number one, in the event of fraud or improper conduct, as we just discussed. Two, where the company is a sham company or an agency and not the actual company. Three, in view of the public policy, or when the company is held by or the control is with citizens who are from an enemy country, right? So suppose even though the company is in India, but the all the shareholders, directors, or rather the entire major control is with somebody who is from the enemy country. In such a situation, such a company cannot be treated as not an enemy country, because all its directors and shareholders and the ultimate control is with those who are in enemy country. That particular company will also be treated as an enemy, right? In the sense that it is also will be considered as an entity from the enemy country because of this doctrines of alter ego and the lifting of corporate wheel. Next, on account of tax evasion. Whenever court finds that the shelter of company is being used for tax evasion or the company is evading taxes, in such a situation, the ones who is responsible for this company, that is the directors who are the ones who, because of which the company is doing such an activity, will be held liable to make good of those losses, or rather will be held liable to make the payment of those taxes. So tax evasion is one ground where the corporate wheel may be lifted. Welfare legislation avoidance. So where the companies are incorporated to avoid certain welfare legislations, and if that comes to the forefront and the court understands that the shape of the company has taken place in order to avoid only solely so that you can avoid payment of any welfare obligations or a compliance with certain welfare legislations, then the court can look at this company as the person who has incorporated this company itself, and it can lift the corporate wheel and make them responsible to make good of the welfare legislation. Next, in the interest of public. So in public interest, any bad can be done. In the sense, in the public interest, you can make good of anything, right? So this is also one such ground that in the interest of public, in any circumstances, the courts can lift the corporate wheel. And where the companies are being used as a front for criminal activities, like I was explaining, certain frauds which they are doing or certain illegal activities for evading taxes or any other illegal purposes, then the ones who are running the company cannot take the shelter saying that is the company which is liable, not me, right? So therefore you will be held responsible, not just as a vicarious responsibility of being a director, but they'll also lift the corporate wheel to say that it is not actually the company, it is you. So both are the same, and that we are lifting the corporate wheel, and we can't treat this as a corporate offense. It is you who have committed this offense. And in other situations where the companies have been incorporated for other illegal activities and other legal purposes, the courts will be well within their rights to lift the corporate wheel and hold the ones who are running the company responsible for the acts of the company. So this is how these are the various situations in the past in precedents where the courts have adopted for lifting, or rather courts have rooted for lifting of corporate wheel to make the individuals responsible. Apart from this, under the Companies Act 2013, we have certain provisions like that of Section 7, subsection 7, where when it comes to fraud during incorporation by misrepresentation of documents, etc. Section 251 or Section 339 for fraudulent conduct of business during winding up, and under Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, Section 66, which is fraudulent transactions or fraudulent trading and wrongful trading. All these are transactions where the directors are being held responsible by virtue of lifting of the corporate will. Even though the language does not mention lifting of corporate will, it tantamounts to a situation where the courts have the freedom to lift the corporate will and make these directors individually liable or responsible for the fraud or other illegal activity which they would have done in the name of the company, right? So this is all about the doctrine of lifting of corporate will, and in our next video we will discuss more about the other aspects of a company. Thank you.